real thing into touch.
I've got a welding degree from the University of the North Pole. Does Inkatha Freedom Party even still exist?
Well, not as a political party, just as a Facebook group.
Wink, wink, wink.
Muslims, Jews, you're going to have to put your foreskin back.
Guess who joined the fight? Juju baby.
You don't want to be a black guy at the fence store wimpy asking for tomato sauce.
Bongo Bayo.
Late Night News with Lois Sokola, Wednesday at 9:30 on the E! News channel.
All right, let's stay with print media. And South Africa's magazine industry has been catapulted into the 21st century. Kalahari.net has expanded its digital content offering by selling the electronic versions of South Africa's most popular magazine line. Joining us now is Gerjo Hoffman, Senior E-Content Manager at Kalahari. Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks.
Digital, is it the future of magazines?
It's definitely the future of magazines, and it makes it much easier for the consumer to consume magazines, for the advertiser to engage with the consumer, to focus its advertising, and then for the publisher to have a direct relationship with the customer and the reader.
Let me argue with you. I would suggest, as an inveterate reader of magazines, and I love them, and I'm sure you probably do as well, that tactile feel, the engagement, the intimate relationship that we have with magazines, that's lost electronically, surely.
Well, if you go back and you want to go and track a couple of years ago's magazine or article that you specifically looked for, you have to go and look it up in the mothballs and try and find that magazine. Well, now you can archive that magazine, you can search for that content, and it makes it very accessible, and the ease of use, it's much easier in a digital environment than in a physical environment.
But that's the archive. About the joy of picking up a new magazine and smelling it and paging through it?
Well, we know that more and more people are on the internet consuming content online, so this is just a natural convergence to the online environment. Now with the launch of tablet devices like the iPad, the Samsung Galaxy, that's on kalahari.net, and it's picking up and people are buying more and more of these devices, you need to offer these people magazines to consume on these devices.
But to your point, though, given that so few people have access to this wonderful new technology, you are offering this to a select few. There can't be more than a couple of 100,000 South Africans, if that would take advantage of an offer like this, surely.
So it's still early days, you know, and if you see what happened in the US and the rest of the world, tablet devices have changed the way that people are consuming magazines. Magazine publishers see this as a new opportunity to monetize their business and rejuvenate their business.
Is it physically eroding circulation of magazines worldwide?
At the moment, it's still very early. You know, the iPad only was launched this year. There's now a number of devices coming into the market, so it's still early days. And I think this offers the publisher a new market that they can tap into.
Didn't publishers understand that new market?
I think publishers, and especially publishers in South Africa, are quite proactive. You know, we see that especially Media 24's publishers offering their magazines, you know, and following up in a period of a couple of months after magazines were launched on the iPad, now offering it in South Africa on kalahari.net. So we're quite aggressive in adopting this new technology.
What exactly then are you offering people?
So at the moment, we're offering people to go to kalahari.net. They can subscribe to a magazine for a year. There's an annual subscription, or they can.
Does the price differ electronically to the?
The price differs.
To the paper?
Yes, there's a discount.
Is it cheaper?
It's cheaper.
How much cheaper?
It's about 10% for a single copy. For a subscription at the moment it's 20%. But as we add more products, at the moment we've got about 16 products. We're launching some more products in the weeks. We'll be offering different bundles for products. We're also bundling devices and content. So for instance, if you come and buy a Samsung Galaxy for 7,999 Rand, you get 1,000 Rand magazines for free. So we're also bundling that content.
How have you made the choice of magazine, or is it simply dictated by what's available?
So we've gone to publishers and we've tried to get initially the big magazines on board, so UA is Generd, and then we've gone and looked at what makes sense in this environment. So we have got Go, Weg, Fair Lady, Sorry, and then some younger publications like Zigzag also on board.
How quick is the download?
It depends on your internet connection, you know. So if you have a decent broadband internet connection, it's quite quick.
Quite quick as well.
The files are between 20 and 80 megabytes, so it could take you 5 minutes, 2 minutes, depending on your internet connectivity.
A trend to watch. Thank you very much for joining us. Gerjo Hoffman, Senior E-Content Manager at kalahari.net. Now, private label brands, we're told, are seeing substantial growth in the South African market since the economic downturn. But I wonder if this is the whole story. It's a question that the research company TNS is asking of us and of itself. What are the real perceptions around private label brands? Is it all just about price? Neil Higgs from TNS spoke to us earlier. Right, Neil Higgs, private label brands, for purposes of clarity, what exactly are we talking about?
People normally refer to them as store brands, or in the research we've done, particularly no-name brands. It's the brands owned by the retailer themselves.
What informed the survey? Patently, there were questions that needed to be answered.
Well, private label brands are growing around the world. Studies in 55 countries around the world show that private label brands are growing. Pick n Pay here this year reported a 15% growth in their no-name brands and their private label brands. So clearly it's a phenomenon that needs to be watched, particularly also because of the